Hello and welcome to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk to you about The Third House by Andy Deane. This really tiny book, seriously, there's the size of my hand. This tiny book was published back in 2010 from Thunderstorm Books in 2 different states, a trade paperback edition and a signed hardcover, limited to 52 copies, of which this is number 44. But I'll talk more about the book's production value in a few minutes. Let's talk about the story itself. First and foremost, it is the story about a rock band winding up in the wrong neck of the woods, crossing over into the Twilight Zone, if you will. I'm sure that Andy Deane knows his stuff when it comes to living on the road. He apparently is a member of a band. The copyright page here actually has Paul from Thunderstorm Books thanking Andy Deane and all the Bella Morte guys for their hospitality and their awesome Scottsdale show back in 2009. So he knows his stuff. Hopefully he doesn't know the extent of where this story goes. Otherwise, there is some creepy shit out in the world that Andy Deane needs to spill the beans on. So, this rock band is just kind of coasting down the road when the GPS sends them down a wrong turn, down a gravelly road to a seemingly abandoned street with various houses. But the band soon discovers that the houses are not abandoned, especially the titular third house, and they are soon subjected to creepy humanoid creatures with strange proportions, mouths that expand beyond the reach of the human mouth, teeth full of a full set of molars, black veins, and what have you, and they are soon subjected to absolute violence at the hands of these creatures. So think of it like your Monster of the Week sort of story. Think of your early Twilight Zones, your Buffy the Vampire Slayers, your Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Twilight Zone, and what have you. It definitely feels like that. A ordinary family, or an ordinary rock band in this instance, being subjected to hellish experiences, almost at the turn of a hat. And I will say the whole Monster of the Week aspect was fascinating as hell. The humanoid creatures are honestly kind of creepy. The violence you're subjected to is not for the weak of stomach. This not quite splatterpunk, but it gets kind of gruesome at times. Although the actual gruesome nature is rather abrupt, courtesy of Andy Deane's writing style. He has a very, very abrupt writing style where a blink and you miss it, suddenly you're in the next paragraph, suddenly somebody's getting their face chewed off kind of writing style. So it is a very short read. I don't know if you want to consider this a short story or a short novella. It is over 100 pages, but it is a very small trim size, only 7 chapters. I will say the downside of this novella is probably Andy Deane's writing style. It's not bad. It does well enough. He has a love for very crude similes. Even on the first page here, we have the slightest hint of civilization gets your ass wagging like a dog rolling in fresh shit. Picture similes like that on every other page. He's making all sorts of comparisons to very crude imagery, which is kind of funny the first 2 times it happens, but he almost relies on it too much in the end, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know if that's necessarily reflective of Andy Deane as an author, or if maybe that's just more in line with the narrator of the story. If it's just the narrator, then I guess it checks out. It kind of fits with his personality. So with the third house, you really have a story in parts. The first 2/3 of this novella, the first however many chapters of it, really kind of expose you to the Monster of the Week story. The last third kind of takes a different turn into more gruesome revenge territory. But man, that final third was top-notch. I loved it. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the ending itself. It had almost a Forrest Gump sort of, well, that's all I got to say about it kind of ending, which was a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. When you're constrained to however many pages you have here in the story, it certainly, does its job. It definitely makes me want to check out more Andy Deane. I'm hoping that the love of similes, crude similes, is maybe, restricted to this story alone. But The Third House is definitely worth checking out if you, if you're looking for a good, quick read that's more of an R-rated Twilight Zone episode. As long as you don't mind some very, very crass similes along the way. But it's fun to get another story about a rock band. I mean, there's plenty out there that you can find that kind of go into the horror realm with rock bands. Like whether it be We Sold Our Soul or even The Five by Robert McCammon. But it's interesting to read one that's actually by a musician. I mean, there are plenty of musicians out there, such as Josh Malerman, such as Ronald Malfi. But I don't know if Ronald Malfi's ever written a story about musicians. There was Mad Black Wheel by Josh Malerman, which dealt with musicianship, but not really to this extent. That was more of a metaphysical story of sorts. But yeah, The Third House by Andy Deane, I'd say is worth checking out. If you are looking for a copy, you definitely want to go the route of the paperback. It's unsigned, but despite being 15 years old, you can still pick it up for like $15, which isn't bad. It's nice and affordable, and it gets the job done. If you want to go the more rare route, there is the hardcover edition. Being published back in 2010 means it is a very early Thunderstorm Books title. This is part of the Elemental Chapbook line. But obviously, I wouldn't really consider this much of a chapbook. I mean, it's a straight-up hardcover, or it's not your traditional chapbook. It's a lot meatier with over 100 pages. The hardcover itself has this nice bonded leather to it. Doesn't really have the same end papers that, you expect from modern Thunderstorm books. But hey, it's not bad. And with only 52 copies available, I would say it's a pretty cool rarity to add to your bookshelf if you wanted to find it. Anyways, I'm on a chapbook kick right now. I'm actually reading another one of Thunderstorm's Elemental books as we speak. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to check out more book reviews. I do at least one a week. I've been doing 2 the past few weeks, and I have plenty of unboxing videos as well to hold you over. But anyways, check out Thunderstorm Books. They do an incredible job. Check out Andy Deane, and we'll see you around next time.